All right, guys. I did not even want to record this video, but Jake Paul's at it again, and I'm not surprised. I'm not. It's gotten to the point where we are all watching 2020 envelop everything that we know and love. And it's doing it in the form of the problem child himself, Jake Paul. Is anyone tired of the circus act yet? Is anybody understanding that the sideshow Bobak is only in town for a couple of more months before things get real and it gets pretty ugly? If not, I'll fill you in. So in the last 2 days, Jake has called out Conor McGregor in a bizarre video that I'm pretty sure he meant to be like a flex on Conor, but I think he doesn't realize that it ends up looking like someone begging, pleading on their knees for God themselves to come down and bless them with something they're never going to get. And then today he throws some water balloons at Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach / training partner, Dillon Danis, in the middle of LA. Yes, what I just said is reality. It's hard for me to believe too, but here we are. Let's talk about it. So Jake makes this video yesterday, and it's quite clear he's trying to flex. He's trying to play the bad guy here. He's trying to entice Conor McGregor into a fight with what he says is $50 million that he's offering to Conor McGregor while he's smoking on a stogie, and he's got his whiskey in his hand, quite clearly a nod to the Proper 12 whiskey. He's got the Irish flag on. He's got the Conor Mickey Mouse shades. The hairline's a little receding. I don't know if he can work on that. Again, 25 with a receding hairline. I've seen his dad. It looks like a mole rat. In 20 years, it's not going to be good for you, fella, but we'll leave it there. Now, you're going to have to excuse my language for these next parts because it's not me saying this. It's your boy Jake, and I know it sounds like a 13-year-old that found an email address and an 18-plus login on YouTube and just spammed the comment section with everything that he thought was a nasty line. So Jake says Conor is out probably smacking old men at a bar in the morning, says his wife is a 4 out of 10, calls Conor a pussy, says Dana White's a pussy and gets no pussy, throws around the word pussy a lot. I think now I'm finally starting to understand the genius of Jake Paul when he was talking about how he surrounded himself with a lot of pussy. It's all those dudes that rock his merch and kind of just hang out with him and hold the camera, and he's got the stunt double, and then the one guy that talks a lot on camera but really does nothing except work out with him, kind of. So really, the pussy he hangs out with are his yes men in the Lego mansion. Long story short, Jake begged for Conor to fight him, said he had $50 million to give Conor, and that there was a proof of funds that he was sending to Conor's team. What he didn't mention was that it was a financial backing that he had. $50 million from a financial backing. So Jake didn't pony up the $50 million. He went and got it from somebody else. You know what this is? Let's just think about this really quick because it's not a flex. This is not Jake building a fight. This isn't Jake being a villain. What Jake is doing is pandering to an internet full of kids that see things like savage and calling people out as like hard. He said Conor was going to hit an old man and that his wife was a 4 and that Dana White got no girls. This Jake Paul guy's fucking crazy. He don't give a shit. He might actually beat Conor because he's just a fucking savage like that. That's not what this is. This is a child at the supermarket, and they're walking through the toy section, and one of those toys, the most expensive one, it catches their eye, and the parents leading them along, and in 2020, they got the freaking dog leash for the kids now. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but they're leading them along, and the kid is just stopped, and he's reaching for that toy, and he's like, I need it, please, I'll do anything, please, I need this new toy, and they're begging, and they're crying, and they're pleading, and the parent turns around, pats the problem child on the head and says, we have toys at home, let's go. And then they proceed to throw a fit, screaming, flailing around in the floor, bawling their eyes out, looking at everybody to try to help them. Please, they won't get me the toy, but it's the most expensive one, and I really, really, really want it, and no one seems to care. This is Jake's final last-ditch effort after he went from asking for the fight, calling Conor out. That didn't work. Conor has no idea who this kid is, to now calling him out, trying to talk about his wife, trying to talk about the punching the guy in the bar, saying things about how Dustin Poirier is not a real fight, which Dustin Poirier would fold him up just the same. And then going into Dana White because he understands that he never is going to get this fight without the approval of Dana White or Conor McGregor, both of which will not bat an eye at this kid. Jake is failing an uphill battle here. I don't care if it's 50 million, 100 million. Conor McGregor and Dana White are not going to subject their sport to what boxing is going through right now. And I told you guys this a couple of months ago. If we go down this road where entertainers start to fight actual athletes and actual boxers, it takes the incentive away for real fighters to fight other real fighters. If Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul becomes a mainstay, why does Canelo go and fight the rest of the people in his division? Why not fight a Jake Paul? Why not fight someone else on YouTube, another influencer? Yeah, you might not make the 50 mil, you might not make the 20 mil, but you might make 10, you might make 2, and it's easy fucking money, smooth work. Boxing will die if this continues. Listen, Jake's going to keep trying, and he's going to keep meeting defeat, and he's going to keep acting out, and he's going to keep acting out, kind of like a problem child would. Now we understand the name. Conor is so many levels above this that if he even responds to this guy, because he's going to get questioned about it, I understand. When he fights Dustin Poirier, some of the media is going to question him about Jake. To even give this kid a response is to lower yourself. Conor's here. Jake is under the scum in his toenails. That's where Jake is right now. Skill-wise, obviously promo-wise, I don't know what that was that he tried to film. Yeah, there's money on the line. $50 million is no joke, and it's not easy to say no to, but if you're Conor McGregor, you don't need it, one. And if you just allow guys to buy their way into competitive athletics, where do we stop? When's the next TikTok star going to get a financial backing? Because again, this isn't Jake's $50 million. He's too afraid of losing that 50 to put up his own money, so he went and got a financial backer, just like he got for Team 10 and other investments that started his career out. He went and got someone to give money up so that he could profit off of it. Conor will never fight Jake Paul. And if he lowers himself to even respond to this kid, then Jake Paul wins. As far as the Dillon Danis and Jake Paul stuff today, Jake Paul rolls up on Dillon Danis, throws a water balloon at him. And by the way, people acting like it was crazy that Jake could find Dillon Danis. I found Brendan Schaub in LA one time. Brendan Schaub works for Showtime. He runs the Below the Belt podcast. He was doing, I think, a Food Truck Diaries with Dillon Danis. It's not that hard to find people in LA. I stumbled upon Brendan Schaub one time in LA. And that's me. I'm a nobody. I saw him coming out of the Whole Foods. That's it. It's not that hard to find people. Jake rolls up, throws a couple of water balloons. Dillon tries to chase him down, and Jake skates out. And Jake's going to try to spin this narrative. He's already started on Twitter calling it a drive-by, and that's why we didn't stop. And I don't want to fight him in the street. We fight for millies. No. You did what cowards do, because if you didn't want to fight him in the street, you didn't want to fight him, you didn't want to interact with him, you shouldn't have gone. Because once you put yourself in a situation where you invoke a response out of somebody, negative or positive, and you can't handle that response to the point where you yell at your driver, dip, we got to go. It's a coward's way out. And if we know one thing about the Paul brothers, they know how to take the coward's way out. Ask Logan about his KSI fight. Matter of fact, ask Logan about both of his KSI fights. When things don't go their way, or they lose control, or someone responds in a way they weren't ready for, they find a way out real quick. And this does build up some hype for the Dillon Danis and Jake Paul fight. I've said that I think he should fight Dillon Danis next. Yes, he's a world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist, but he doesn't have any boxing matches. He only has 2 MMA fights. It makes a little more sense, even though it's not a good look for Jake to just roll up, throw some water balloons, and as soon as the guy comes to meet him, he skates out of there. I guess this is what the internet wants and what he understands his fans like, doing a drive-by with water balloons and toilet paper. The only thing that would make this more of a YouTube beef or more 2020 is if both Jake Paul and Dillon Danis drop diss tracks. Fuck it. That's where we're headed. Are they going to be trash? Of course they will. Am I going to listen? You're damn right. All right, so there you go. I had to talk to you guys about it because it's kind of relevant to YouTube boxing, so there you go. Again, I don't know when the circus ends. The Sideshow Bob act is getting very old. I really like YouTube boxing, but I can't stand this type of stuff because, again, we are driving off the cliff of entertainment straight into sport killer territory. I don't want to see it, but apparently a lot of people do. So there you go. See you guys next time.